And Big Bucks Abeta is muted. So for the first time ever, I'm going to be doing the intro. What's up, DeGents? It's Money Management of the Distinguished DeGents podcast. Your one in many homes for sports gambling. I know Big Bucks does it better. My co-host, Big Bucks Abeta. Why are you muted, buddy? What's going on?
Technical difficulties, I guess. By the way, I have some background noise, so I can mute and go off camera to go fix that real quick. But if you haven't noticed, folks, we're live during the Thursday night football matchup, Seattle versus San Francisco. So I got that going in the background. I got my dogs Blitz and Rush downstairs, so I'm ready for football. I'm hyped. We got a huge Week 6 card to go through, but we don't have all the time in the world. We are both on groomsman duty this week. We have a wedding to attend Saturday, a rehearsal Friday, so we have to get this video out short. We did as much recapping as we could, but Money Management, while I go off camera and fix the volume real quick, I'm going to ask you this, and you can pose it to the people who will eventually maybe watch this. Obviously, first question is, what was your takeaways from handicapping all of the Week 6 games? What are you looking into? What's the theme? I know we're doing rapid fire this week, essentially, but what's your takeaways as I go deal with this?
My quick thinking is that this is going to be a tough week. There's a few games that I really am struggling for what to do on. But at the same time, I think I said it before, there's a couple of sharp plays that I really want to fade and some handicaps that I've heard that really don't make a lot of sense that I'm looking to fade. So looking forward to that.
Gotcha. Caught the very tail end of it. I'll just give my take and we can go forward.
Am I glitching? I am glitching.
Uh-oh. We're still here. We're still here. Okay, we're good. Yeah, a lot of divisional matchups, a couple non-conference spots, but, we got 6 different divisional matchups this week. We got all 6 road favorites, division road favorites this week. Tends to be the theme, but a couple non-conference spots, we're going to get into that. We have another London game, but my overall takeaway here has just been, kind of being careful with the trends, being careful with the the history of the games. This has been the kind of year where a lot of those stats, a lot of those trends have gone to die, and this just really seems to be a week of pros versus Joes. You have your historical trends bettors, and then you also have your old school bettors who are just looking at the lines. So, statistical analysis is really going to come into play this week, in my opinion. But for a week where we have to go rapid fire and just be sharp, it's that much more important. We have to give you the best of what we got. So usually in these pressure moments, I tend to do well. Mansman, I think you've had a big hit and miss kind of game, but we still got 14 games to go through. Let's hope that our rapid fire takes, they end up being the best of what we got. So we do have the Thursday night football game right now. Seattle is a 3.5-point home dog. San Francisco is a minus 178. Now they are a minus 205 favorite on FanDuel. Plus 172 for the Seattle Seahawks. Over-under is now set at 48.5. Went down a point from earlier today. And a lot of sharp money, 71% on the Niners on the money. 63% of the bets on San Francisco, so a little bit of a 60-40 split. Mansman, I'm going to defer to you here in this spot. I believe it's your turn. So, Mansman, Thursday night football, the game's coming up. Give us your best play.
Well, my best play, I said it in the last show, is actually Kenneth Walker. It was over 56.5, and clearly I was on the sharp side because it's been getting steamed to the over. The last time I saw it, it was 60.5. You listen to the news. He had 5 carries last week. They talked about how they need to get Kenneth Walker the ball more. And I told you look at some of the comps. When the Niners, specifically, I'm going back to their record, when they played New England, when they played the Rams, I believe Minnesota as well, Stevenson, Kyron Williams, Aaron Jones, I believe they all got over 80 yards rushing. So this seems like a really good spot. Seattle's going to have to run the ball if they're going to have any chance of success behind the beat-up offensive line. He made it a point to say that to get Kenneth Walker the ball, I think he's going to get some good running in this game. But all in all, San Francisco's owned this matchup. They're the better team coming off an embarrassing loss. I expect the Niners to cover this line, but not a play that I'm particularly rushing to make. Less than 3.5, maybe, not at 3.5.
I don't mind the 3.5. And my quick handicap, it really just kind of sums up to this. Both these teams came off very similar losses last week. There was one key difference, though. The Niners should have won. They were in the lead. They had a big lead. They gave it up and lost. Seattle, on the other hand, was playing from behind against the New York Giants at home. And they played from behind, and not only did they have the blocked field goal to make it a 9-point loss, like you said, San Francisco historically owns the Seahawks, albeit that was under Pete Carroll. But, I mean, is there really much of a difference here with the Mike McDonald? I don't think so. So, to give you my stat prop of the play, I'm actually going a different Seattle player, rushing yards. I'm going Geno Smith over 15.5 rushing yards. He could get this in one play to start with. Number 2, though, more importantly, if you look at the last 5 games,
Oh, are you still there?
this season regression line here, San Francisco's defense has not been as superb as we have been used to in the past few years. So this is like a one play.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
We're struggling with technical stuff, but let's keep
keep it moving. Jacksonville, the London Jaguars, hosting. Maybe. I don't know how to even announce this, but we'll just go the best we can. But Jacksonville is the designated road team. They're a plus 102 dog, plus 1.5. The Bears are a minus 120, minus 1.5. Over-under is set 44.5 points here. So Jags are like the London Jets. So I don't know if you want to say they're host or if because they're the road team and, you know, my puppy Rush is losing his goddamn mind. I am too, buddy. It's okay. This was a hard game for me to handicap because on one hand, it seems like the Bears have been playing better football. It seems like they finally have been utilizing the run. The Jags have played 2 close games, one of which they lost. The other one they failed to cover the 3, but they beat the Colts. Now they have to travel. Like, instinctually, I would want to fade the Jags in this spot, but because it's in London, I have to go with the neutral site rule, which is like, I guess if the Bears were the home team, do I want to lay 3.5 with them against the Jags who have been playing really close, tough football? I'm not really sure. But if you go with the inverse too, like, does Jags plus 4.5 make sense? I think it does. Against a Bears team that, you know, in 2 games, I think a lot of people are ready to designate that, you know, Caleb Williams is a real NFL quarterback. But those were the 2 games he's done the least activity. So I'm just not sure what to make of this Bears offense yet. So Jags in London in a pick'em, I pick Jaguars, but this is a round robin money line play. If anything, go running to the book betting the Jags, especially in a non-conference spot with Trevor Lawrence. I know he doesn't historically do well in those spots either, but I'm just not so. I just don't know how this Bears team is going to show up, and that's really my concern. So yeah, I'm going Jags.
This is the pros versus Joe's game. If you look at it, I'll give the numbers real quick. 76% of the bets on Chicago, only 56% of the money. And spread-wise, 84% of the bets, only 58% of the money. So the Sharps are on Jacksonville. I'm going with the Sharps. I'm going Jacksonville. I love the tease here up to 7.5. I think that's money.
Love the tease.
I actually like the under. I like the under. We'll think about the spots too. Jags got a big division win going to London. They're used to doing it. Caleb Williams, rookie quarterback, going to London. I don't like. I don't like those trend lines, and especially too, the Bears have a bye, so they have a bye next week, which means they're looking to they're going to be looking to the bye already. Jacksonville has 2 straight games at home against Chicago and New England, 2 winnable games. Jags are 2 wins away from sort of being back on their season. I just don't think the Jags should be getting points in London. So I'm going with Jacksonville, and I think this is a tease potential with the 1.5. I think you could very easily tease this up to 7.5, hit the under, and be sitting pretty Thursday morning.
Shit. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, no, just to tail off that real quick. Loved the Jags in that teaser spot, like you mentioned. And for those of you who actually tune into our Week 5 recap, where I gave out my teaser line, you will remember that I gave out the Jags plus 7.5 in my three-leg teaser for the 1 o'clock in the early game. So love that spot, love that handicap. We'll keep it going. We're on to the next non-conference game. It's the Washington Commies, a.k.a. the Commanders, a.k.a. the Redskins, a.k.a. the football team. They're now on the road. Jaden Daniels is a 6.5-point road dog in Baltimore in the Battle of the Beltway here in our hometown of Maryland. Ravens are minus 300, home favorite, minus 6.5. Over-under is now at 51.5. Washington, public dog, 68% of the bet, 63% of the money. Mansman, I do believe it's your turn. Quick stat, though. 4-1 ATS and straight up for the Commies. 3-2 for the Ravens.
Oh, boy. Damn, I wish the number wasn't so high. 6.5. At 6.5, I'll make this my fade of the week. It's time to fade the Commanders. You got to think about it this way: Washington beating who? Cleveland. The week before, they beat up on they beat up on Cincinnati, beat up Arizona. They beat up on a couple of bad teams. Baltimore, huge step up in class for them. Meanwhile, Baltimore, we talked about it, 21-1 straight up. Lamar Jackson against the NFC killer in Baltimore, 1 o'clock. I think this spot favors the Ravens. There's really no look ahead spot. They play at Tampa Monday Night Football next week, so it's not a big divisional game. No real look ahead spots. Washington has Carolina next week, so they don't need to win this game. I don't know. I could see the Ravens finally playing some bully ball and bullying the Ravens. I'll take a hardball defense against the rookie quarterback. So fade of the week, Baltimore Ravens.
Gotcha. I had a very similar mindset here with this game. And again, numbers are the key, but I think even at 7.5, the idea that I got from the Sharps with this game was going to be one of two things. Either Jaden Daniels is the fucking truth, and he's going to outright win, or Baltimore is just going to explode on this Washington Commies team, who many believe are frauds, and they're not going to know what hit them. So I'm with you at 6.5. I love the spot. Give me Baltimore, because no matter how I look at this game, it came down to two things. That number one, a lot of sharps have been looking to fade the Commies. This was the spot I personally had highlighted, where I was like, if the Commanders do great, this is the spot you just fade them. You go with Baltimore no matter what. You just trust in Lamar Jackson at home versus the NFC, which, it's a huge fucking risk. But I even a weirder play, I have two other bets that I want to give out. The under 49.5 right now, or I want to say it's gone up. So it's 51.5. I had it under 49.5. Now we're at 51.5. I really love the under here. This just to me seems like a get right spot for this Ravens defense, who I know they only let up 10 to Josh Allen, but the Commanders seem to run a similar kind of style offense where it's a lot of RPOs, a lot of read options, and a lot of Jaden Daniels ending up trying to throw hero balls and deep balls and go scramble. Ravens did really well against the Bills spot in this game, and I just think they could put up a similar defensive performance. And I think Lamar Jackson, I don't think Derrick Henry will necessarily go 200 yards, but the Commanders' defense has been really, really awful. So I would also look at Commanders under for team totals in this spot. And I also am concerned about one thing. Even though Jim Harbaugh 22-7 straight up against rookie quarterbacks as a Ravens head coach, I'm betting a first half bet. This is a Ravens minus 4.5 in the first half. Because the Ravens historically have been known to blow late covers. They've been known to give up games late in the fourth. And my concern is with a Jaden Daniels, nothing to lose, playing hero ball, he could catch up. So I would go Ravens first half minus 4.5.
I don't know what the current one thing to real quick to jump off that. I don't know what the current over under passing is for Jaden Daniels. But I would honestly, I kind of agree with you. The under Jaden Daniels passing, because I could see two things happening. Number one, the Ravens defense having a bounce back. But number two, the Ravens running the air out of the ball. I'm looking at something. There's an analysis here that potentially the Commanders are projected to basically run like the second fewest plays this week among qualifying teams because of the fact that the Ravens are going to run the piss out of the ball. So if that happens, not a lot of opportunities, ball hawking Ravens defense. Who knows? This could be a game where Jaden Daniels is out midway through the fourth quarter to rest him up for next week. So, like your
could be Jaden Daniels, 224.5.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, the Commies played the Browns last week, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know the kneecap trend with Detroit. Here's a pro tip: go look at Cleveland. You thought Detroit was bad? Go look at Cleveland.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
So I'm going, Baltimore all the way. This is a smash spot for Baltimore. I almost made it my best bet, but I think the number is insanely high. So next up, another divisional matchup. We got Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Tampa Bay is laying 3.5 as a road favorite. They've been in New Orleans the whole week due to the hurricane out in Florida. Thoughts and prayers, and we're thinking about everyone down in Florida who was affected by the recent hurricane. So hopefully you all are safe. Hopefully, if you are out in Florida and you can make it to Saratoga and get your bets in there, hopefully you can go win your money and get some damage recoveries, because God knows FEMA's not doing it for you. But anyways, back on point. Saints are a plus 150 home underdog, plus 3.5. Over under is set 41.5. No Derek Carr this week. Spencer Rattler has been named the starter. Both teams 3-2 straight up and 8. Both teams are 3-2 straight up. Tampa Bay is 3-2 ATS, 2-3 for the Saints. Tampa's getting 79% of the money, 71% of the bets. And this is going to be my handicap for this game. But I'm just going to warn you, this is probably my dummy pick, where I just look like a donkey. I hate the spot. I really, really hate the spot. I have no choice but to go with Tampa. This is a spot where, like, all year, I almost had it circled. I was like, this is a spot you just bet on Derek Carr, and if you can get him as a home dog, if you bet the Saints as a home dog, I was like, I'm circling this. This is going to be the spot. Like, I think you could get it. The way Tampa's defense has been performing lately has been literally abysmal. It has been the fucking worst. And you can hear my dog in the background. He's fucking crying about how bad Tampa's defense has been. And I've heard sharp podcasters been like, oh yeah, Vita Vea, this is a good game for Vita Vea. And, Tampa bounce back. Like, I get it. I get the handicap. The problem is, like, I'm going with Tampa on the chance that their defense doesn't fuck this up. But if their defense is just as bad as the last few weeks, Spencer Rattler will go yard. And this game will be a lot closer than we think, and there's going to be a lot of sharp bettors come Sunday night, Monday morning. They're going to be like, well, we were wrong about Spencer Rattler. He was supposed to be the number 1 overall this year. And it's like, no offense, I've heard this before. Like, a guy who was supposed to be the number 1 overall but wasn't due to some bullshit, and, like, he was supposed to be... I heard this with Jaden Daniels, and this is the test game for him. And I think this is a test game for Spencer Rattler. And really, this is going to tell me a lot about how bad Derek Carr might be. So, and that's my concern. But in the spot as a pro bettor, if I'm running to the ticket, it has to be Tampa, especially with the hurricane situation. Like, I just have to do it. But don't know how much motivation that'll play into it.
Yeah, this is my best bet of the week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Whoa.
Bro, you don't understand how great this spot is. Tampa Bay, heartbreaking loss, long rest coming in. Bulls defense against the young quarterback. I know that didn't work out. I know it worked out better with Jaden Daniels than it did Bo Nix. But you got Tampa, long rest, coming off the Thursday night heartbreaker. New Orleans, guess what they have? Thursday night look-ahead spot. They play Denver on Thursday night with a backup quarterback in this week. Just the absolute perfect spot. Tampa Bay coming off of 2 really bad losses. They need a win. They're going to get it. I think this game gets ugly. I think the Saints romp. Or not the Saints, the Bucs romp. Remember, too, with the Bucs, they can stop the run. If Alvin Kamara can't run, this Saints team has no prayer. They're going to get shellacked this week. Give me the Bucs. Best bet.
Best bet, Tampa Bay. I mean, so I didn't hear any handicap. Sorry, say that one more time.
I don't like a lot of the games on this card, but this is one where the spot is really good.
I mean, do you think the hurricane plays an effect? Do you think that, like, it's, I mean, what really, if you had to pick, like, one of 3 angles, is it Spencer Rattler, Derek Carr injury? Is it the hurricane? I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go about it, but what's the important one?
The hurricane could motivate them to play well for the community, but I think it's just more, I think it's Spencer Rattler coupled with the Thursday night look ahead and the fact that Tampa's coming off a long rest. Like, everything is coming into the fact of Tampa being super focused for this game, New Orleans having to play on Thursday.
Fair enough. By the way, teams,
they're coming off a short rest. They played Monday. So they're coming in with short rest. Have a Thursday night look. Oh, this might be my best play of the year. This might be my best.
Can I give you a warning? Because there's 2 stats I'm going to give you that really, really is a warning. Okay, losing teams coming off of Monday Night Football this year, they are, God, that can't be right. 4-1 ATS, 4-1 straight up. So that leans in New Orleans' favor. Teams looking ahead to Thursday Night Football, 6-4 straight up, 5-4-1 ATS.
I'm not worried.
With the Saints. But
I'm not worried.
That's fair. You know, I love the confidence. I wasn't there. I wasn't sold. But if you're sold, and I picked the same side.
Both together, too. Short rest with a rookie quarterback and looking ahead to Thursday, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Got to give you that. All right, moving on. Cleveland with the misogynist Deshaun Watson, 9.5-point road dogs, plus 385, traveling to the supposed city of brotherly love. The 9.5-point favorites, Philadelphia Eagles, coming off the bye, minus 500 money line for the Eagles. Over under set at 42.5 points. Mansman, it's back to your turn. Does Deshaun Watson, does the Cleveland Browns have a chance here in this matchup?
Yeah, honestly, it's funny because I feel like they do. Like, I'd really be tempted. 9.5 for an Eagles team, and I know they're coming off the bye. I know their receivers have come back. But they also have a road game next week against the Giants, so that could be a potential look ahead. Non-conference game. They got a divisional matchup next week. Maybe that's a small look ahead for them. But to me, it's just, I don't know if the Eagles have played well enough to be 9.5-point favorites in a game. But having said that, I'm not playing it because I'm not playing the Browns. I know there's a lot of sharps on the Browns again, but they're on auto fade. Can't bet the Browns with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. You just can't. They're unbettable. We've seen the last 3 weeks. Oh, I guess this is the week the Browns are going to do something. I have no faith in them to do anything. I know this Eagles defense isn't good, but until maybe Nick Chubb comes back for the Browns, they're on auto fade. I don't want to go for the Eagles. This is a pass game for me. If I had to choose, I think I'd have to take the Eagles just because I think there's more of a chance of the Eagles winning in a blowout than the Browns playing well. We've been waiting for the Browns for the past 3-4 weeks. They haven't done it. I'm not betting on them to do it this week. So forced choice Eagles, but this is a game you pass on the side.
Yeah, if I had to pick a side, it's Philadelphia or nothing here. I don't even really like Philadelphia in a teaser, truth be told, at 3.5. Because what has the Eagles defense done to show you that they deserve to be essentially 10-point favorites? Here's my bet, though, over of the week, over 42.5 points in the Browns-Philly game. Primarily because the Eagles defense is, I think they're that bad. This could be the supposed.
If the Eagles offense comes out well, maybe they score the majority of the points.
Yeah, but here's my other factor. You're getting the wide receivers back in Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown for Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles offense performs a lot better with those two in sync. I think a lot of Dallas Goedert has been overhyped. I don't know what the fuck my dog is doing over there, but we're just going to ignore that. I think that comes into play. I think Cleveland, they haven't been shut out necessarily. They're going to get some points on the board. I just think this number's too low. This screams 34-10, 30-15, like all over, and it's going to hit. I just think 42.5 is a bit low. Philly's defense has been that bad, but I think Jalen Hurts has been kind of written off lately as a bad quarterback, considering he did get his fucking ass beat in Tampa, but that was kind of a revenge spot for Tampa where they took it out, and Philadelphia was massively injured, but they're getting Lane Johnson back, I think, too, off of injury. They had the bye week where they're really going to be 100%.
Amari Cooper over receiving yards, I think it's at 50.5. That would be my prop play of this game. Because over, because like you said, the Eagles defense is not very good, and Cleveland's going to have to throw to someone. And it's not like the Eagles have a number one cornerback who's really going to stop anyone. I mean, their defense has been terrible. So my prop play, especially if you like the Eagles, maybe to get a little reverse correlation, go with Amari Cooper because the Browns are going to have to throw the ball.
Yeah. By the way, let me give you some some stats real quick. Eagles defense in 4 games this year, they're 22nd in points allowed to opponents at 24 points per game on average. They're 27th in yards allowed per game, 365 on average. When I say this Eagles defense has been bad, it is not good. And Browns in road games since 2023, they're the best team to bet on for the over. They're 10-2. Browns in the 4 of last 6 non-conference road spots have also hit the over, and they actually allowed opponents to score 23 or more in 5 of the 6 games. So I really, really love the over spot. And actually, that's going to be my live bet. I'm going to hop on right now. I got to make sure I hit that number if I can. Because that honestly might be my best play.
Why don't you introduce this game, and then while you're doing that, I'll do my.
Oh fuck! I didn't want this game, but this is a game I got. It's the Tennessee Titans hosting the Indianapolis Colts. They are division home favorites, -152. 2.5 is the spread. +128 money line for the Colts. Over under is 42.5. Tennessee Titans are getting 52% of the money, but the Colts are getting 69% of the bets. Yikes. I fucking hate this game. I have not been swayed one way or the other. I listened to a lot of sharps on this game. I have not done well in this spot, but the last 2 times I have been successful. So 3rd time is the charm. Let's see if I'm sharp. I am fading the sharps on this game. I am taking the Indianapolis Colts at +2.5 and +114. The Colts have actually won 11 of the last 15 in Tennessee, going all the way back to, I think, 2010. But I have three aspects of a team that I like to bet on. It's the manager, it's the quarterback, it's the franchise overall. I like the quarterback room in Indianapolis a lot better than I do in Tennessee. Shane Steichen has a slightly better record than whoever Tennessee's coach is right now. As far as the franchise goes, I know Tennessee is like gone farther in playoffs, but they really haven't proved much to me since they lost Derrick Henry. And that Miami win 2 weeks ago, I'm not sold on that either. I like, even with Anthony Richardson starting with the week of rest, still like that better than Will Levis or Mason Rudolph. I think week 1 I would have taken that bet anyways. So it's rough, but I know the Colts defense has been terrible, and that is a concern. The Titans defense is supposedly good, but I don't think they've really played a lot of tough competition. And the Colts, for what it's worth, their offense can produce. I know Jonathan Taylor's injured, but I don't know how much of a factor that plays. I hate it, but give me the Colts. I hate it.
Yeah, the Sharps who were continually running to Tennessee with Will Levis supposed to play quarterback, like, when are you going to learn? Discount Josh Allen is not good. I don't know why people keep running at the Titans. It's just ridiculous. Having said that, to me, this is a no play for me until the game starts. Do you know why? Because we don't know who's going to start for Indianapolis. If Joe Flacco starts, who I'm going to bet on. I'll take the Colts plus points, especially if it gets to 3.5 again. But if it's Anthony Richardson, I think the Titans will probably be a 1.5 point favorite, and they might be a really good play. It's real simple. If Richardson plays, I like the Titans. If Flacco plays and it gets above 3, I think you go with the Colts. But the Sharps just continually running to discount Josh Allen every week. I mean, we've seen what this guy does. You should probably play the Levis interception prop. It hits every week.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Like every week. But every week he throws one.
Thank you. I'm going to go do that right now.
So, yeah. So, there you go.
All right, I'm going to introduce the next game. You can give your thoughts. Houston, 6.5 point road favorites, going to New England off the home win against Buffalo. Minus 330 on the money line for the Texans. Plus 265 for the Patriots. Over-under is set at 37.5. Current money trends, 69% of the money going to Houston and 77% of the bets, despite the fact that Houston's only 1-4 ATS. But 4-1 straight up.
Yeah, I actually played a Stephon Diggs over receiving yards prop because I think New England's going to have their way through the air in this game. I heard a couple sharps convincing themselves to bet New England, but I don't see it. Houston's defense, we saw what they did last week against the Bills. Houston's defense, other than really the Minnesota game, has been fairly competent. I just think New England, this is a really weird spot this is a really weird game, really weird spot to put the kid in. I think he's going to struggle against this Houston defense. They've played well, and I think all you're expecting from Houston is enough to win the game. I think they could win it comfortably under a touchdown. I think you 100% have to go with Houston. And looking at it too, another bad thing, New England has the London look ahead. So again, another odd like decision to play the rookie quarterback before the London game, like before the look ahead to the London game.
I mean, if you really think about it, sorry to cut you off. If you really think about it, Jacksonville and New England covered the week before they went, it was it the Jets? I have to double check.
No, they lost.
But the Jets and Vikings covered in week 4. Before they went to Minnesota.
They lost to Denver outright. They did not cover.
They did not cover. You're right. Shit. So, yeah. Interesting. Okay. So continue. I apologize. I don't know if you had anything left, but
No, that was it. I think Houston's the only play here, and I think you look to the under because this feels like an under game.
I really don't have any other thought other than like it's Houston or nothing, and this was leg 2 of my teaser. Just take Houston down to half point. I don't know of a world where Houston lays this big of an egg with the offensive team that they do have against this Patriots team, who, let's be honest, they've really... What? Oh, what, you don't like the Patriots? I'm sorry. But no, the Patriots suck. They're no good. Jacoby Brissett, Drake May, London Bridge is falling down. I don't give a fuck. The Patriots suck, okay? The Patriots suck. They're no good. They had a very easy winnable spot last week where I had money on them against a Dolphins team with literally a third-string quarterback, and they still blew it. Yeah, and now he runs away. See?
Man, I don't know why you didn't tease them up. Got to tease them up.
Yeah, that should have been a tease up play. It really should have been. But, and honestly, no, Miami should have been a tease down. I mean, I could have got them plus either way. It was a pick'em game. If you really think about it, like, it was a pick'em game. Could have teased it, didn't do it. And this is kind of a similar matchup where it's like, if I really like New England, I could tease them up to 13.5 and think it's a lock. But, like, is that really the case? I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't do it in this game. I just think there's a chance that the offense gets completely shut down. Houston's defense isn't bad. Their defense is actually okay. And I think
their defense is fine. No, the narrative of the Houston Texans has always been that C.J. Stroud's having a sophomore slump, and they're just not doing good on offense. Their defense has been keeping them in a lot of games. And I just think that...
I really do think they're a fraudulent 4-1 team, but what are you going to do?
I don't know. But yeah, Texans all the way. I got over 37.5 in this matchup, even though I think the numbers changed it. Oh, no, it's still 37.5, so we're good. All right. I'm going to introduce the next game. I'm going to have you quickly go. I'm just going to try to let... Actually, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to go. All right. Arizona. We're into the last 1 o'clock game. Arizona, 4.5-point road underdog, plus 210 on the money line. Traveling all the way to Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Packers are minus 255 home favorite. Laying the 4.5. Over-under is set. 47.5 total points. Arizona getting 51% of the money and 58% of the bets. Both teams are 3-2 ATS. Arizona's 2-3. Packers are 3-2. 3-2 for the over/under on both teams. Can you quickly introduce? I got to make sure the fucking beasts are okay,
yeah.
And then I'll.
Yeah, no, real quick. I don't have much on this game. It's just a really bad spot for Arizona. They're coming off a really, really, really big in-division win, and now you have to go to Lambeau Field on a back-to-back road spot. One of the short podcasts I was listening to talked about like teams have a sub 500 ATS record going to Lambeau after a back-to-back road spot. We know Arizona's defense struggles. I think they caught a couple breaks to win the game against San Francisco. They're coming off their Super Bowl. Green Bay, they're not as good as I think a lot of people thought, but they're fine. They're in a good spot here coming back home. I just favor them in this matchup. I'm not in a rush to bet Green Bay again. They're just kind of, but I think they get it done here.
I can't fight you with those opinions on Green Bay. They really haven't been explosive. They haven't been the team we've been expecting. I think this is the week, though. I think this is the week we get the Jordan Love bounce back. I love the spot so much. This is my best bet.
Wow.
Green Bay minus 5.5. It's really a spot play. I get Jordan Love back at home, 3-0 ATS against the NFC West, or I'm getting a Kyler Murray who is in a back-to-back road spot where he hasn't won back-to-back road spots in 2 years. He's 2-6-1 ATS against the NFC North. And I'm looking at the Packers' injury concerns. Jair Alexander's looking like he's going to miss a game, and no offense. Wasn't high on him ever. Kyler is just due for a regression. What better spot than Lambeau Field? in my opinion. Especially because, I think if you remember my Niners handicap, the Niners really should have beaten the brakes off of this Cardinals team. They choked it away. The Cardinals
I think they were
through
center.
Yeah, the Cardinals through 3 quarters of football were 10% to win, 90% to lose. They found a way to come back. I don't know if they do this again. And again, the Packers, they're winning in ugly fashions, but they're winning. They're staying in a big enough lead where it's really almost been a no sweat. And I could just see this being a spot where, the Packers show up at home. Kyler just finds a way to choke it out. You shut down Marvin Harrison, you shut down James Conner. There's really not much else to it with this Cardinals team. So,
all right, we got 15 minutes to TNF. So now super rapid fire.
Woo! Here we go. We got 6 games left. Let's see if we can rapid fire this. Oh boy, it's my turn. It's the Broncos 3-point home underdogs plus 134, over under 35.5. Chargers are -3, minus 158 on the money line. Money Mansman, I'm going to propose this question to you before I give my handicap. What the fuck have the Chargers done to be laying 3 on the road?
Yeah, I hate the number. Agree. Nothing. Nothing. They had a bye. That's the only way you could justify it. They're coming off a bye.
I mean, that's it. Like, there's nothing else. Like, there's no, like, road trends. There's
they had injuries. They didn't look great coming into the bye. They scored 10 points against Kansas City. They didn't look great against Pittsburgh. There's really, I don't know. The line doesn't make a lot of sense. And they were talking about on the look-aheads, basically, before the season, it was close to the same number. And you would think Denver's been a lot better than they were projected to be. The number doesn't really make sense. That's why this is really a game I'm avoiding, because the line doesn't make sense to me. Like, I want to bet the Chargers in this scenario, but not at 3.
Really? Well, what would you want to bet the Chargers at?
Coming off the bye, Denver does have to go on the road Thursday Night Football next week. Denver had that win against the Raiders for the first time in forever. I don't know. I feel like Denver's starting to get a lot of love from the Sharps, and it's time to fade them. But I'm not fading them because they're still a 3-point underdog at home. Like, I was hoping to get this game at Pick'em, and then I could pick the Chargers, but not at this number.
So did you happen to catch the Bet US handicap video on your way to this, or did you miss it?
No, I didn't. No. What did they say?
All right, well, let me give you this. This is my dog of the week, Broncos plus 158. I have them winning at home this week. If you had listened to Bet US and you listened to Steve Fezzik, a professional gambler, and I have to give credit where credit's due. He is your boy. I have to give credit where credit's due. He brought up a very good point, I thought. It's a pure numbers play. This line, back in July, guess where it opened? Mm-hmm. Like, if you had to go back to July, when you didn't know anything about these teams, where did this line open?
Chargers probably -3, 3.5, somewhere around there.
Yep, that's 100% correct. We are now in October. We know enough about both of these teams. Do you think that the market value of the Chargers should remain at 3.5 at this line? If you're like me, my answer is no. The Broncos defense being the prime number one reason. The Broncos defense has been way better. They have way overperformed than expectations have given them.
I think
but rightfully so.
Yards per play to the Jets.
Yeah, they are that good. Here's number one. If you were to bet the Chargers, here's your offense. Ready? J.K. Dobbins. If Denver stops J.K. Dobbins, what offense does the Chargers have? None of their receivers seem to be able to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you trust in Justin Herbert? Well, do you trust Justin Herbert against the number one defense? I don't. That's another reason. Like, okay, so then so Steve Fezzik, again, I'm going to essentially try to repeat what he said, but this is essentially what it was. So basically in a normal line, when you look at a July line versus now here in early October, you get a little bit of market correction, you have a little bit of an overreaction. But take both scenarios. If you were to get this game at essentially a pick'em, what would your bet be? Me, I would have bet the Broncos at a pick'em at home as, slight dog, worth the value. I don't like the Chargers. I think they're overrated. You would have went Chargers. But again, you look at the value of the bets, you're like, okay, makes sense. You could split it 50-50, 60-40 one way or the other, and it makes sense. But you're looking at it. But now let's go with the overreaction. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you're right. This Chargers team is a lot better than what we expect. What's the line if that's true? 5.5? 6? Are the Chargers really a 5.5 point or 6 point favorite in Denver against this defense? There's no fucking way that makes sense.
There's no way I would bet Chargers. I don't want to bet Chargers -3, much less Chargers -6. I'd actually bet I think I'm going to tease Denver, actually. So I think what I'm going to do. Yeah,
but again, let's ignore the fact that Denver has beaten Justin Herbert in 3 straight games. Let's ignore the fact that the Chargers have gone 3-7 straight up in the last 10 in Denver. Minus the Peyton. That's not even the Peyton Manning years, by the way. That's minus Peyton Manning. Let's ignore the fact Denver's won 5 straight at home against the Chargers. Even if you're high on the Chargers, again, are the Broncos really that bad where you're having to question taking the 3 points? And again, if you think the Chargers are that good, and if you think this should be a 4.5, 5.5, 6 point, the Broncos are not that bad. This is a massive market overreaction. And I love the spot for Denver too because of the Thursday night game. I think they're going to outright win. I don't think the Chargers are going to show up in the spot. This is my dog of the week.
Yeah, I think I think you've convinced me. I'm at 3 points. I'm going Denver, and I'm going to tease them up because I just don't like the number. I think the Chargers could win, but boy, it's tough to see them winning by more than a field goal.
All right, next up, 4:00, Falcons, 6.5 point road favorites, -270, traveling to Carolina, +220. Over-under is 46.5. I don't have too much on this game, so I'm going to be very quick on my handicap. Fade Carolina. I have nothing else. Carolina's on auto fade. They're the worst defense, and they're going up against a quarterback who went 500 yards.
I get the sharp angle trying to fade Atlanta coming off another miracle win. They seem to keep doing it. Carolina's defense still has all of those injuries. Would have to bet Atlanta in this spot.
Agree. Over-under is 46.5. We haven't done a lot of over-under totals here, but I got an over in this spot because Carolina's defense, they're just that bad.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to see Carolina's defense holding up. If they have a chance, Andy Dalton needs to play very well again.
Well, I think he'll do enough, and the number's slightly low, but it's not too bad. All right, second to last 4:00 game. Pittsburgh Steelers are now a 3-point road favorite going to the Las Vegas Raiders, who are a +136 home underdog. Over-under is 36.5. Your boy Aiden O'Connell officially named the starter for the Raiders. No starter officially named for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think you did mention it's gonna be Justin Fields. So, what's your thought? Knowing
I was looking today, it looks like it's. I think it's going to be Justin Fields. Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, Justin Fields to start in Week 6 per CBS.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like the line's been pretty straight. This is. I hate to say it this way because it's really tough. I told you I didn't like a lot on this card. Dog of the week, Vegas Raiders. It's the dog I like the most on the card. I just think we talk about it all the time with the Steelers. They get overbet, and then they have to lose a few games, and then they get underbet, and you bet them. And I just think, to me, this looks like a spot where the Pittsburgh Steelers have been overbet. Aiden O'Connell, I think, isn't going to turn the ball over as much. I think the Raiders will be able to keep it close. And I don't know. To me, it's like, I think the Raiders looked worse than they were because of a pick six on the 1 yard line that went back for 100 yards, which completely changed the game. Like, I think if the Raiders score a touchdown there and it's 17-3, they probably win the game and are 1.5 point underdogs in this match. So I'll go with the Raiders, dog of the week. I've been talking up Aiden O'Connell. Time to put my money where my mouth is. Let's go Raiders.
Okay, listen, I hate to be this guy on a gambling podcast with literally 0 viewers right now. Our one viewer we had be kicked out because he was a troll. But here's my take. This is 100% contingent on who's starting for Pittsburgh. If it really is Justin Fields, I'm taking the 3. I don't think he deserves to be a 3, considering they were a 3-point favorite at home and just lost to Dallas at the last second. But again, it was a team that was supposed to win at 90%. Should have won, did everything right. What have the Raiders done to deserve any bets, dog or not? Not sure. So that's my concern. If it is Russell Wilson, though, Raiders +3. Because I think if Russ starts, it's going... My theory is if Russ starts, the number's going up. And it's going to be like 3.5, 4. And Russ isn't... And I just don't think he's worth it. So that's my angle. But whoever starts is going to be the case. If it is Justin Fields, I'm laying the 3, but I'm not running to the books on this one. And this is a big game for an over-under. I have over 36.5 here because Justin Fields got a lot of shit for last week, but I think if he does start, this could be the game where Pittsburgh's offense explodes. I could see a Steelers defense pick 6.
And the Steelers have given up some yardage, so...
Yeah, so, yeah, I got to overplay here. This is one of my other favorite overs for the week. All right, we're moving on.
We're literally at like a minute of handicap. Go.
We got time. We're okay. Lions, Cowboys. Lions are traveling to Dallas as 3-point favorites, -172. Cowboys are +144. Over-under is 52.5 in the Fox game of the week. Detroit's getting 84% of the money, 71% of the bets, though. Mansman, quick thoughts. Go.
Yeah, real quick. Scary spot for Detroit. Look ahead spot. They're in Minnesota next week, which could be a massive, massive game with Super Bowl implications. Having said that, Detroit good ATS, good team against the spread. Dallas coming off of that delayed Sunday night game. I'd favor Detroit here.
Gotcha. This is actually going to be my fade of the week. I am taking the Dallas Cowboys plus the points.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Historically, the Lions had not fared well against Dallas. I think they're 2-8. Excuse me, in the last 10. Detroit might be coming off of extra rest. Dallas coming off of a late Sunday Night Football win, but Detroit has just been a really up and down team as far as I'm concerned. If you take away the Seattle game on Monday Night Football, what were we saying about this Detroit team? Their offense has struggled. They haven't been able to get the ball moving. They haven't been able to really score a lot of points. They're not as explosive as they used to be. Against a Dallas team who, let's be honest, I think they have a lot of the same concerns. But just when Detroit got it right and literally had Jared Goff coming off of a perfect game, they get a bye week. And this is kind of a reverse handicap where I know a lot of sharps like to bet on teams coming off of a bye. This is a spot where I'm like, if I was a Detroit better, I would have wanted Detroit to keep the momentum moving. I would not have wanted them to go on the bye. I would have loved them to stay at home, get another shit team where they could just explode on again. Dallas, though, 2 straight ugly wins in primetime, but they won. One of which they came from behind. The other one, they had the big lead. Should have covered by more, but didn't. But they won. And I think if that's going to be the new Dallas Cowboys identity, that's the case. But, yeah, I'm just concerned about the momentum change with this Detroit team. Pittsburgh's defense that they went up against Sunday, I think Detroit's is oddly similar. I think Dak is going to be better at passing the ball in this Detroit defense. They're 22nd. Detroit's defense, 22nd in yards allowed per game, 350 on average. So I think a lot of people who think that Dak isn't going to show up, like Cowboys are going to be at home. I know that's been a really weird spot for them this year, but like this seems like a good turnaround spot for this Cowboys team. So,
I see this being a really good game. I see this being really close. I will admit. Yeah. I'm not going to get ahead of this game. I don't want to fuck with this game betting wise, really. Maybe I'll look at some props later in the week. But, yeah, I don't want any part of the side. I'm with you there.
All right, Sunday Night Football, Giants plus 3.5 point road, home underdogs plus 160 hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. The 1-4 Bengals, 3.5 point road favorites, minus 190, over unders 47.5. 70% of the money on Cincy, 74% of the bets on also Cincy. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no other handicap than this. 7 straight unders on the Sunday Night Football games. I'm going under of the week here. Under 48.5 points, under 47.5. Very concerning. Huh?
High number, so not the worst.
High number. Oh, and by the way, fade Daniel Jones in primetime, guys. What are we doing? Fade Daniel Jones in primetime. Don't get cute. Don't think this is the spot. I know Cincy's defense has been bad. Giants have looked their best. They literally got, I think, 2 special teams points last week. And Daniel Jones is not that good. Let's stop overrating him. He's not that good.
They played very well. They played very well last week.
Okay, 1 week out of the 5, they played real well. They covered against Dallas. They covered against Dallas in a game they shouldn't have won to begin with, which they didn't win. Shouldn't have covered. But all of a sudden, the Giants are good. 1 game, the Giants are good. No. Take Cincy, take the points, leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm on Cincy here too. I think with Dallas, with the Giants, you got to remember they played Seattle, coming off of short rest. The Giants were on long rest, and Seattle was looking ahead to a division matchup against the Niners. Honestly, I should have been on the Giants last week. I wanted to be, and I talked myself out of it like a donkey. But yeah. All in all, I think Cincy needs to win this game. They need this game like blood. I think they're going to put forward a very good performance. We talked about primetime Danny Dimes. If he's going to win, he's going to win without my money. So there you have it.
All right. Monday Night Football, Buffalo laying 2.5 on the road into New Jersey against the New Jersey Jets, plus 2.5, plus 120 on the money line. Buffalo Bills are minus 142. Over-under is 40.5 points. Money Management, it's your team. I give you your honors. What's going on with the Bills? Where do we go here?
Boy, I got to say, you got to be really careful because there are a lot of people, and DK Metcalf just had a really big reception for Seattle.
Yeah, I just saw.
There were a lot of people really loving the Jets in this spot. They fired their coach. They're a game out of the division. The AFC East sucks. The Bills are imploding. I mean, the Bills lost in a bad spot on Sunday to a very good Baltimore team. That Houston loss was inexcusable. Don't get me wrong. Not saying the Bills have any excuse for you losing to Houston. But they did lose on the road to a team that's now 4-1. I would be very careful running to the window to gobble up Jets tickets. They fired their coach coming off of London. Aaron Rodgers is still banged up. I know that Josh Allen's banged up too. I think this is just going to be an ugly, disgusting AFC East game. But the loss of James Cook really hurts because James Cook is probably going to be out for this game. The past trends indicate that the Jets should get this one done, but I don't know if I'm really in a rush to bet this game. I'd be scared taking the Jets. I know a lot of people want to do it. I wouldn't be in a rush to do it. I would pass, and honestly, I think the Bills are going to find a way to win this game. I don't think the Bills are as bad as people are saying. I think they had a couple down weeks. That doesn't mean they can't recover. And look, if they don't, they're going to have a new coach because McDermott needs to go. But I think they can win this game.
It's simple handicap. Like Sonny Weaver on draft day, Bills no matter what. Fuck the Jets. I'm not sold. Like, they fired the head coach. Whoopee. The Jets are a good team now. They fired Robert Saleh, but they have the most ineffective offensive coordinator of all time in Nathaniel Hackett still calling plays. Their defensive coordinator, who has actually been the only reason the Jets have been respected, is now the head coach. He's not going to be calling the defensive plays. He's now in a new role. No offense, a lot of I forget who it is, the Action Network, I think they call it the dead cat bounce, where like a team with a new interim head coach, they're like, oh, these guys do well, and it's like, really, no offense. I remember Denver with an interim head coach eating shit. I remember a lot of coaches in the interim eating shit the week after. I wouldn't want to play the Bills Monday night. Did you see what the fuck they did to Jacksonville? Did you see what the fuck happened, like, when the Bills played the Cardinals and were down from behind in the first half? Like, I don't want to fucking play the Bills after having lost 2 straight in a desperate must-win division situation. Josh Allen, worst game of his career.
Coming back from London with a new coach and a banged-up Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, went on Pat McAfee and was like, I abhorrently disapprove of any comments that I got Robert Saleh fired. But no offense, like, you did nothing on the sidelines to show you two had any fucking, like, camaraderie or any fucking sign of a relationship. In fact, if anything, he showed the opposite.
Not Downing's calling plays, so they got a new play caller on offense, new head coach, coming back from London, playing the Bills.
Yeah, no thanks. I want nothing to do with this spot. Give me the Bills. That's my last handicap. Give me the Bills no matter what. Fuck the Jets in this spot. I have no faith.
Good luck to the Sharks who are gobbling up the Jets all week.
Yeah, good luck to them. All right, let's wrap this up. Last 5, or give me your top plays. I'll give my top plays. We'll call it a night.
Right, yes. Best bet, Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the ultimate smash spot, maybe best bet of the year. Fade of the week, a tough one, but I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens, finally fading Washington. And then my dog of the week, not a whole lot of plays. Denver was an interesting one, but I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders at home against Pittsburgh.
Very good. All right, under of the week. I didn't give it out early. I didn't give out my under of the week. Under 44.5. It's a London game. Jacksonville, Chicago. Over of the week. Cleveland, Philly. Over 43.5. Over 42.5 now on FanDuel. Best bet. Favorite of the week. Green Bay minus 4.5 at home against the Cardinals. Dog of the week. Broncos plus 136. If that number's still accurate. Plus. Is it still accurate? I thought it was. Plus 134. Close enough. Okay, so there's that. Dog, that was fade of the week. We're fading the Lions coming off of the bye week. Plus 142, plus 3 points for the Dallas Cowboys. I got nothing left. We're at an hour in. We're currently running into the Thursday Night Football matchups. Money Management, any final thoughts, comments, or concerns?
No, nothing else. Gino threw a pick. Kenneth Walker, 3 rushes for 5 yards. Not a good start, but other than that, I hope you DJs out there make some money because don't look good for
Goddamn right. I got some parlays in. I'm Steve Big Bucks Beta, and I'm signing off as always. Go make that motherfucking money. Oh boy, that was rough.